Hi, it's me, Lisa Sun, and this is In Confidence, where what is shared in confidence helps us grow in confidence. These are little mini episodes, we're calling them. We're calling them little nuggets of learning or inspiration. And today's is all about stop saying sorry. So I just want to take a moment here. And I just want to, if you were in a room with me, I want you to raise your hand if you say sorry all the time, even when you've never done anything wrong, even when you haven't done anything wrong. Raise your hand. If you're in your car, don't take your hand off the wheel. But if you're just somewhere, just raise your hand if you do this. And I think most of us do. Most of us say sorry all day long when we haven't even done anything wrong. And today I want to explore three things. One, why do we do it? What is the reason we say sorry all the time? The second thing is I want to give you some real ways to change that behavior. And the third is I'm going to give you an accountability tool because what is measured is what is valued. So today we're going to eliminate the word sorry in our life. And it's going to change the way you take on every day. Because if you're apologizing all the time, then you're not really stepping into your power. In fact, you assume the flaws with you. So we're going to jump right in. First, why do we say sorry? Well, we've identified 6 forces that form the basis of our inner critic. And 2 of them are why you say sorry all the time. The first is a deficit mindset, where you see your weaknesses or what's missing over your strengths or your potential. The easiest way to think about this is when you look in the mirror, do you look for your beautiful sparkly eyes or the new wrinkle that's just formed? And when we're in a deficit mindset, we just see the negative things in our life. And that's one of the forces that leads us and triggers us to say sorry, even when we haven't done something wrong. The second thing is what we call the shrinking effect. This is where you underestimate your own potential. You really don't think you're good enough for something. This is actually the force in your life that holds you back from taking risks, from throwing your hat in the ring for something. Oh, you know what? I need to be 100% qualified to apply for that job. Well, by the way, the person next to you is like, hey, I got 60 or 70% of the qualifications. Not bad. I'm not going to underestimate myself or shortchange myself out of this opportunity. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. And when you have deficit mindset and or shrinking effect, all of a sudden you assume that in every situation, it's your fault, that the flaw lies within you. And so, first of all, give yourself some grace that everyone has these forces because we all have an inner critic. And I want you to take a moment and reflect on, are you shortchanging yourself? Do you think you're less than everyone? Do you only focus on your weaknesses or the negative things in your life? And if you're stuck in that headspace, you're going to say sorry. Oh my gosh, sorry I'm late. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I didn't do that. Or you trip up on your words. Sorry, I didn't say that right. You all of a sudden it's a default. It's a crutch because you're like, it must be my fault. So give yourself some grace. We all say sorry as a default. You got to change your mindset. And that's the second thing is if you start every day thinking the best of yourself, thinking, you know what, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing, you know what, I might make mistakes. I might trip up on things. I might not do things the right way, but you know what, I am doing my best. My intention is I wake up every single day trying to do my best. I'm doing the best for my kids. I'm doing the best at work. I'm doing the best for my family. I'm doing the best for my friends. I am really a pretty strong human. I'm pretty capable. And if you believe that, then you're going to be able to replace the word sorry. And not all of us can do that. So sometimes I always say words are powerful. So let the words lead you. So if you replace the word sorry with some other words and you start to practice that, that starts to change the chemistry in your brain. You start to believe those things. You start to believe, you know what? It's not my fault. I'm not going to apologize for that because I didn't do anything wrong. And so if you're going to get a chance to go to our website, you can download the PDF of how to replace sorry with another phrase. And I'm just going to read them to you because I think just hearing them and internalizing them all of a sudden you'll start to take them on. So the first one I always hear is, sorry to bother you. I mean, so many people are like, oh, I don't want to bother you, but I'm so sorry. I just need, And I always say, hey, is now a good time to talk? And if any one of you have ever gotten a call from me, I never say sorry to call you. I always say, hey, is now a good time for you? And I just really start off the conversation. And the person might say, no, it's not a good time. You're bothering me. And I'm like, okay, cool. When is a good time for us to connect? Or if usually they'll be like, yeah, I got a few minutes. I have 5 before my next meeting. What do you need? And I always say the phrase, is now a good time to talk, is a really easy, powerful one. The second is, sorry, can I ask a question? Can I jump in? I mean, how many times have you been in an interaction where you're like, sorry, can I just say something? And I always say, hey, I'd love to ask a question. I have an idea to add. Can I have a moment to do that? And I think that's such a more powerful way to put yourself in a position to throw something out on the table. The third, oh my gosh, I've done this my whole life. Sorry for being bad at this. I always say, replace it with, thank you for helping me. I appreciate your advice. And you're taking ownership of, you know what, I needed the help. And I'm really grateful you're giving me the chance to do it differently or to think about it differently. The fourth, everyone has done this, and you cannot tell me you haven't. Sorry for running late. Okay, we have all been late. I am the biggest offender when it comes to this. And I always say, thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience. I know your time is valuable. I never would have wanted to be late. I'm really grateful you waited for me. Or if you ran so late that they didn't wait for you, I think then it might be an appropriate place to say, I'm sorry, and I'd love a chance to make it up to you. The fifth one, sorry, I don't get it. Okay, we've all had that moment where we don't understand something, we didn't hear it, we just didn't quite get it. And as opposed to saying, sorry, I don't get it, can you please repeat that? Can you say more about that? And all of a sudden you've engaged the person and let them know you're curious to go deeper. Sorry for ranting. Oh my gosh, I do this all the time with one of my best friends, Jane. I'm like, sorry for venting to you. And she said, stop apologizing to me for ranting or venting. I'm here as your bestie to hold space for you. And that's kind of like that's a Wicked reference. We hold space for each other. And I always say, thank you so much for listening to me. I really value your friendship. I don't know how I would have done that without you. And it's so much more respectful of the time your friend has spent for you, and doesn't make them feel guilty or, like any of those things, but just sorry for ranting, sorry for venting. Thank you for listening to me. I really needed this time. I really needed you to be here for me. Sorry, I forgot. Now, my chief of staff, Claire, will tell you, I forget things all the time. She is notorious for saying, here's your list of things you forgot to do last night. And I always say, I'm so sorry. I should have done that. And now I say, thank you so much for the reminder. I will get on it, or I actually can't get to it today. Can we reschedule it for another time? But I love taking the power back and saying, thank you for the reminder. Sorry for that minor mistake. Now, I say minor because if you did really screw up, you should apologize. If you spill coffee on someone on the subway, please just say you're sorry. That is a real mistake. But if it's a minor mistake, you can say, hey, great catch. It won't happen again. I really appreciate your feedback. It matters to me that you cared enough to tell me. And so those are just some of the ways I think if you just switch the word out, all of a sudden you take your power back. Subconsciously, your brain will start to train itself to pick itself out of that shrinking effect or that deficit mindset. Now, the third thing, accountability. I have done this a few times, and I will give you my own scores because I have it on my phone. You have to be accountable. And what I mean by that is I want you to take one day, just one day, and I want you to just open up your phone and just start a little notes. And every time you say sorry in email, text message, verbally, or even think it, I want you to just put a little X there. I want you to count the number of X's you have at the end of the day before you go to bed. And then subtract out which ones you really were sorry for. Again, if you spilled coffee on the subway on someone, please say sorry. And I want you to have a baseline, just a starting point. How many times did you say sorry today when you didn't need to say sorry? I did it for the first time 7 years ago, And I said sorry 38 times in text message, on the phone, in conversation, over an email, 38 times. That's more than once an hour. And then I said, okay, I'm going to start every single day trying to replace sorry with thank you. And about a month later, I was down to 12 times. So, if you count it, all of a sudden you can track it. So I had a mother-daughter pair share a story. The mother wrote to me and she said, I heard your talk about stop saying sorry. And so I went home and told my 12-year-old daughter all about it, all about what I learned. And she goes, Mom, you say sorry all the time and I do too. And one of the things I love, Carrie Mae Weems, she's a photographer and she has this great kitchen table series. And there's a photo of a mom and a daughter, and the daughter's putting on lipstick the same way the mom is. And I realized so much of what we learned is conditioned from what we see from others. And she said, I think I'm the problem. And she said, what we decided to do is every time I say sorry, I would hand my daughter a $1 bill. She said, we're gonna do it for a weekend. Every time mom says sorry when she didn't mean to say sorry, I'm gonna hand my daughter a $1 bill. And every time she says sorry and she isn't sorry, she will hand a $1 bill to me. And she realized that for the weekend, they were just handing the $1 bill back to each other because they were both saying sorry when they didn't mean to. And they realized that they both did it. And then the following weekend, they decided to say thank you instead. And they made fun of it. They actually got such a kick out of it. So on Monday after this weekend, the daughter had to stay home from school because she wasn't feeling well. And she was like, oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry. Oh, no, sorry, you have to stay home from work. And she's like, oh, wait, no, I don't want to give you the $1 bill. She said, thank you. And she kind of had this sings out, thank you for staying home at work. You're the best mom in the world. And it was kind of became an inside joke for the two of them. So this woman wrote to me saying, first of all, you made it really fun for us. And secondly, you really helped me learn something about what I was doing in front of my daughter and that both of us could learn to do this better together. So instead of sorry, say thank you. And I hope that helps you with a little nugget of inspiration today. If you loved this episode and you think there's someone in your life that needs to hear it, I hope you'll share it with them because they might really need to hear something like this today. And I want you to subscribe so you never miss a moment of inspiration. Until next time, in the words of my 9-year-old self, I see you, I value, I believe in you. This is In Confidence.